one of the only Arsenal fans online who's seen Arsenal lift the last Premier League title.
Typically, if I'd like to say, we were the first official Premier League supporters in India. Tomorrow is going to be our 806th or 805th football meet.
God. Daksh has now become the most popular Arsenal fan after Ranveer Singh. He's number one.
And the lovely back pass by Kashoni and all the rage in me just started shouting. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh. Okay, I suppose this club down. Okay.
Did you have a joint screening with Spurs fans? You don't want to.
We don't want to.
You don't want to. Yeah, that's
we don't want a Warfield scene.
And understand, from a fan's perspective,
You met Robert Perez once?
I've met Perez thrice.
Wow.
why don't we dive a little bit into that Wenger era?
About Spurs, right? So it is not just so it's just not a rivalry. It's a hate.
Football is more than just a game. It's an espresso shot of emotion, strategy, and endless debate. Here, every tactic will be dissected, every emotion will be shaken and then stirred, one sip at a time. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cappuccino Charcha, where passion meets precision and football banter brews like a hot, steamy cup of coffee. So today it is my pleasure and honor to welcome my fellow host, A to the J Menon, AM Talk Sport, Calcio Charcha. Please welcome Ajay Ravi Menon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. दोस्तों आप आपके स्क्रीन्स पे जाके 49 तोपों की सलामी दो क्योंकि आज जो गेस्ट हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं are none other than शर्मा जी का बेटा दक्ष शर्मा and Mihir from Arsenal Mumbai Supporters Club. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome.
Okay, guys, so now that we have that very, very amazing introduction,
Yeah.
Ajay Ravi Menon. So, Daksh and Mihir, guys, I'm going to come to you. How did this amazing, incredible journey begin? Was it the Invincibles? Was it the Forgettables? What was it that got you guys going? Daksh, I'm going to start with you. Was it a player? Was it a moment? Was it a manager?
Yeah, I like telling this story, bhai, because my dad got me this game called FIFA 2000 all the way back. And it was a demo, by the way. So nowadays, demos also don't exist. But demo, you could only play two teams. One was Arsenal and one was Real Madrid. And Real Madrid that time had like a very plain whitish, bluish jersey. Arsenal had the red in it. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll play with the red team. And fair enough, I started playing and everything. And one day on Star Sports, I just saw these highlights. And I was like, wait, I know these players. I play with them on the PC and everything. Let me take a look. And so I saw them score goals and like do some really incredible moves. So I was like, let me replicate this in the game. So I started developing a ritual where I used to tune into the highlights at that point of time. See, oh, wow, okay, Henry has scored this. This player has scored that. Let me try and replicate it in the game. Bicycle mara kisi ne, back heel mara. Oh, back heel wala to bhai, I couldn't figure out how to do it in the game. So it became a ritual, and then from that ritual, it just became a habit to just tune into Arsenal until I figured out, okay, you can watch live matches here. And yeah, I started properly watching Arsenal at around late 2002, 2003. So one of the only Arsenal fans online who's seen Arsenal lift the last Premier League title.
Give it up, guys, give it up.
I'm a rare species. So yeah, but FIFA 2000 was basically the starting point of how I became an Arsenal fan.
Fair. Mihir, तेरा स्टोरी क्या है? Because हमें allegations मिलता है कि हम सिर्फ अंकल्स को बुलाता है कैपुचिनो पे चर्चा पे. Please tell me, and everyone else, your story of how you became an Arsenal fan.
I would say I started watching. So cricket is the dominant sport in India across the years. But, I started watching some football somewhere around 2006. But that was plain watching. I mean, I did not have allegiance to any team. But obviously, going by the style of play, Arsenal were pretty good. And, it took me a good 2 years to actually watch and get that maturity, okay, that, you support a team and this is the team, That's when somewhere around 2008 is when I decided, yes, like this is going to be my team. And a special mention to, Henry when I started watching.
Of course, has
so
to be.
I'd like to say that Henry was the reason I became an Arsenal fan. But when, the years progressed, Arsene Wenger is the reason that I will remain a Gunner forever.
Oh yeah, Wenger. We will obviously talk about Wenger in this conversation.
Of course. I'm going to come back to Daksh. So Daksh, obviously we understand the journey as a fan, right? What led you to using that fandom to create influence? What got you into the journey as a podcaster? Was it just a simple reel that got fire, or was it something beyond that?
I was very lucky that I have some very creative friends. Special shout out to Manas and Nidhi from Menace and the Monk. These were the guys that, they started creating content on Liverpool. And I was like, okay, like it's very possible to create content on football. And I felt, Ki, I'm passionate enough. Let me put my voice out there. And I literally just jumped in there with no expectations whatsoever. I started recording my first video, and it was basically the season where I think Arsenal and Arteta really started taking off. So I got very lucky in that sense that I was right at the beginning of the wave of where Arsenal and Arteta were like in the title race and everything.
Right.
And what I realized was that there's a very limited amount of voice that Arsenal has online, which leads to a lot of misrepresentation of what Arsenal is, how should we perceive Arsenal. And I was like, you know what? We deserve proper representation, and I'll do my best to be that sort of voice. And so that was it. A lack of representation. My creative friends, especially Manas and Nidhi, who I looked up and followed into content creation space. And then, of course, I met some wonderful people who kept on encouraging me and helped me develop my own content into this, whatever this is today.
and DJ, look at it. From there, Daksh has now become the most popular Arsenal fan after Ranveer Singh. He's number one.
Put it out there. Put it out there. That deserves really a round of applause, guys. That really does.
Second again, typical Arsenal.
Mihir, yaar, आपकी story सुनाओ. The supporters club in Mumbai. How did you guys band together, and what all do you do apart from the screenings? How did everything come together basically?
To be very honest, I was not part of the founding team. This started somewhere around 2006 when we had Orkut. There was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was Orkut. And it started with the community on Orkut, and somewhere people got in touch, and once they reached 100 fans, and that's when they decided, let's meet in person. So what started in May, and December finally they had the first footy session wherein some 20-30 odd people, Arsenal fans, joined and played football at Juhu Beach.
Oh wow.
Later in the next month, Jan 2007, we had a first screening, which happened to be Arsenal United. Ep.3 cross, Henry Eder, last minute winner. And that sparked really good memories. Since then, the core members, some of them have left, some are still with us. And they started, figuring out that we do need official status. And I'd like to present some facts because there are some facts going around which I don't feel are true.
Please clarify.
So we got official status in October 2008. I suppose only Bayern was one SC which was official before us. So typically, if I'd like to say, we were the first official Premier League supporters club in India. I'd like to clarify that first. Once we got official status here, we were not in our golden age after the official period.
Of course.
But thanks to the fans and thanks to their passion, we kind of stick along, and we've come a long way since then. We have football meets every weekend. Tomorrow is going to be our 806th or 805th football meet. So we don't have a number to the screenings, but we've been lucky enough to meet a lot of legends. Thanks to the kit sponsors and the club and PL India that we've had.
Right, you met Robert Perez once.
I've met Perez thrice.
Wow.
I met Henry. I've met there was Ray Parler, Sol Campbell, Lundberg, Freddie, and it's just incredible to actually meet those Invincibles in India.
True.
But one good thing we had was the fans who were supporting us back then had seen the golden age. Yeah. So they somewhere knew, that this is the real Arsenal. This is what they are supporting. And God forbid, we stuck along and we're seeing a good face again. So the numbers have really picked up.
Yeah, of course.
NLD is, our prime screening day, and we easily crossed 200.
Wow,
Our
wow.
benchmark has been the 2014 FA Cup screening.
Did you have a joint screening with Spurs fans? You don't want to.
We don't want to.
You don't want to. Yeah, that's
we don't want a Warfield scene like वो 3,000 थे, हम 21 थे. We don't want something of that sort. Joint screenings हमने try किए हैं. It's not that हमने joint screenings नहीं किए हैं. But more recently थोड़ा ज़्यादा violent हो गया है and it has gone out of control. So we don't do joint screenings now, but the benchmark screening that I was speaking about, the 2014 FA Cup, that was only Arsenal fans and we were around 600.
600. भाई साहब.
We did not have space to stand. हमने नीचे का एरिया पूरा ऑक्यूपाई कर दिया था and we had to make extra arrangements at the terrace.
Wow.
And we literally blew the roof off. We've met legends. Ozil had sent us one signed shirt, which he also posted, by the way. International fans do exist. He acknowledged it was really good of him to acknowledge international fans. And
even Premier League India ने कुछ किया ना आप लोग के साथ में.
Premier League India, though, obviously, like it's for the Indian market, so they've been doing. But for someone like Ozil to, acknowledge, send us that jersey, and also post it, so that the world knows there is something known as Arsenal Mumbai. These are the fans who are passionate, who follow the club, who love the club so much. So that again, another great feather in the cap for us.
Guys, before we move ahead, please leave a like on this video. मैं मिहिर के बगल में बैठा हूँ. I can feel his emotion, and that is what football does, right? हमें emotional बना देती है.
But coming back, guys, just, Daksh, I want you to, take this up. Supported Arsenal for so long now.
Yeah.
In a very realistic sense, who do you claim as a, staunch Arsenal fan, supporter, who do you think is a true rival for the Arsenal?
Oh man. Look, I'll be clear. We don't want either United or Chelsea or Liverpool or City, any of them to win. Like, मेरा बस चले तो हर हफ्ते हार जाए भाई.
But you like a Leicester kind of season if it's not Arsenal.
Yeah, sure. But for me, honestly, bus Arsenal season. But for me, honestly, like jokes aside, has to be Tottenham. Like, unse हारना is unacceptable levels. Unse draw करना is unacceptable levels. Because, yeah, there's obviously like the whole unka cultural, geographical rivalry hai hi.
Correct.
But I think like in more recent times also, like Spurs have also grown in India a lot. There's a lot of like local rivalry within India and Spurs and Arsenal fans as well. And Mihir ne bhi jaise bola tha, kabhi boil बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है emotions and everything. But yeah, I think they are the truest rivals because anything good happens to Spurs, I'm not talking about a weekend, I'm talking about an entire month being ruined because something good might also be happening, and if, let's say, we drop point to Spurs or something, we'll be like, 2 weeks baad bhi aayega. Damn it, yaar, like, how could we have done this? We should have done this that time. We have a group chat also, okay? And I'm telling you, the sort of retrospective analysis for Spurs games, especially if we don't perform the best we can, it keeps on going perpetually, huh? Ki like, Spurs se ye nahi karna chahiye tha yaar. Baki to we all go like, I wish we beat this team, we beat that team. Nahi, Spurs ko to you have to absolutely dominate. It's not even like narrowly escape karo. You have to dominate them, beat them comprehensively.
Hi, my name is Shehbaz, and I have been an Arsenal fan since 2008 and 2009 season. I've been a part of AMSC since 2014. That was my first official membership when I joined. The first screening, I would not like to go back and look at it because it was Arsene Wenger's 1000th game.
Oh, what happened? What was the scoreline?
You already know it. You don't want to go there and
I
scratch
don't remember that game.
Right? So, imagine someone who is joining the screening for the very first time and getting killed 6-0 by the rivals, and obviously I hate Mourinho for obvious reasons, right? So you would know, right? For the first timer, it was a trauma, but again.
And yet you came back, huh? वापस आया
The very next screening I was back. I was supporting Arsenal. Yeah. So it did not stop there. I still do. I still go ahead and go to every screening that we have, right? I'm don't want to brag, but I'm the person who always stand in the front. and I also pull people who does not want to come.
फ्रंट बेंचर है तो
Just imagine people who has to travel all the way from Kalyan Dombivli, from the one end of the city to the other. It took take them 2 hours, right? And Champions League kickoff, midnight, right? So we literally have to pull people. Okay, come support our team, right? Convince. So yeah, that's what the thing is, right? It's just not screening. As I said, it's a gathering of all supporters so that we get that feeling of home. Although myself, I did not have an opportunity to go to the Emirates, but this is where we gather and try to get that feeling of Emirates stadiums. Fans are singing, and we have some other many chants going on, and obviously, like Daksh said about Spurs, right? So it is not just it's just not a rivalry. It's a hate.
Wow.
It comes from within.
So my name is Brian Francis. I have been an AMSC member since 2019. So I was at the final year of Wenger. The actual funny story of me and Arsenal would go back to the game between Arsenal and United where, like they say in Adaya, save the Titanic, where every single shot on target was saved and nothing was up. That game is where I got angry, but I was like, okay, I'm not supporting Arsenal at that point. Then we fast forward to the semi-final of the Europa League against Atletico Madrid, and the lovely back pass by Kashoni and all the rage in me just started shouting. I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, okay, I support this club now. Okay. That was like and then, so that happened, and then I joined AMSC, and like he had a very bad incident with his first screening. I went to the Europa League final for the screening, and that screening, I am not giving, like, it is a episode, I'll just let you all know, that screening, every Arsenal fan who was there in that venue knows what happened. To give you all a TLDR, went there, we watched the first half, the second half, we were back home. Not because we didn't want to watch the match, because we were kicked out. We got kicked out of the venue because of something. But yeah, imagine going back home and wondering. And my mom's asking me, what happened? And I'm like, we lost. I didn't watch half of the game. I was on my phone and watching. So yeah, and since then...
That's the story. Half of us have not even reached home. Wow. We're looking at, okay, Giroud is scoring goals, he's celebrating. Okay, cool. So, ghar jaye ya nahi jaye?
I like how everyone's bonded with some very terrible memories.
Why don't we dive a little bit into that Wenger era and understand from a fan's perspective what that felt like?
Yeah, in fact, Daksh, I'll start with you, yaar. Wenger का era. तो लगता है कि उसने जितना अचीव करना चाहिए था किया कि अभी भी लगता है कि यार अंडर अचीवमेंट था. क्या लगता है, like honestly?
Personally, from me, I think if you look at purely as a meritocratic way, of course, compared to Ferguson and then Mourinho coming into the Prem, all the other teams suddenly strengthening and winning. Yeah, you'd say he won what, three Prems, and then there's a double in there as well. Should have done probably a little bit more in there. But I think in terms of the larger impact on what he probably had on English football, I think it will always go understated. And people will all conflate this with, usne diets change kar di, usne salads introduce kar di. It's not about being a dietitian. He's not a dietitian. But all the players you see today, which is everyone ranging from Jack Wilshere's, your Phil Fodens, your Ep.3's, everyone you can think an English player can be technically beautiful and technically sound. Right. Because that was the segregation, right? England will produce brutes, physical monsters, dominate karenge, run gun, all those kinds. Spain mein ye hoga, Italy mein ye hoga. All these leagues had their stereotypes.
Yeah.
But the person who saw the potential, ki nahi, England mein, even if you're diminutive, even if you're not the fastest, if you're not the strongest, you still have a role in football, and we can change the role in football. Amazing. Not only that, I'd say, I think one of the best things that Wenger did was continue the legacy of what Arsenal was a pioneer in, which was, he was somebody who was giving a lot of time to foreign players. He was the first manager who fielded an all-black team as well, all-foreign team as well, kept on progressing Arsenal women.
Right.
So, in terms of meritocratic legacy, yeah, probably underachieved compared to the other managers who have 13 Prems and 5 Prems and whatever it is. That's fine. As soon as he was appointed, uske khud ke players, Ian Wright saying, Arsene who, right, Ferguson saying he's going to get kicked out and he's not going to survive.
He came from Japan, right?
Yeah, he came from Japan. This professor with glasses. Yeah. And Ferguson very famously said that he's not going to survive. Yeah. So,
you're right.
His total body of work, I think, will live way beyond.
Even the stadium, right? जो Highbury से Emirates move किया, I mean, that's a genius thing जो Wenger ने किया है.
So we don't usually, calculate the impact that he had.
Yeah.
There are a lot of intangible things which will stay for long. You cannot put a measure to it. 3 trophy जीता, 4 जीता, 5 जीता. What he's done is beyond that. वो जो impact है, and it's not just Arsenal. Premier League as a whole, what you see, the modern game that you see, something that he started. People following Premier League today because it is the best league or the most marketable league. That is because someone back then did something that you're seeing the effect now.
Right, absolutely.
So you might not know him, you might troll him, etc., but you cannot change the reality.
But guys, recently we were actually chatting, came across a very, it's unverified, but there was a Wenger quote where he speaks about he could have gone to Madrid a couple of times, he could have gone to Juventus, he could have gone to PSG. He said that he just loves too much where he is as a person, and it is a regret today in his life that he didn't move past Arsenal. Do you guys tend to agree with that thought process that had he gone anywhere else, he would have won that much more than he did at Arsenal?
The quote actually is not specific to Arsenal. He mentions a lot of regret about not giving time to his family, friends, and other things. So that's the larger context of it.
Right.
But yes, Perez has tried so many times to get him to Madrid.
Right.
There are other clubs who have tried, but somehow he had his love for Arsenal there, and he did not leave. So he definitely could have achieved a lot, with the way or the influence that he has over a club. But it's hard to see that loyalty nowadays. But back then you would clearly understand why he stuck with Arsenal. He knew that they are going over a phase of change, the stadium thing, and a lot of things. And he had that intelligence. He has a degree in economics, so he knew what all is to be considered. Building a stadium is not just loan le liya aur ban gaya. How are you going to repay it? So वो sustainability model जो है, that is at the core of what he used to think you should run a football club on.
And the youth funnel, I think that actually created a new dimension for all of Europe.
A lot of the funding came from selling players, to be very honest.
Correct.
And that is not those were not the players that were already stars.
Correct.
Some came in from the academy, some were brought in at a very early stage. He built those players, and unfortunately we had to sell them to balance books. But he always kind of believed in that model. Ki you have to be self-sustainable.
Correct.
And and that's the genius of him.
Along with the genius, but do you think there was a certain rigidity which is what led to the achievement, in the sense that he played fluid football, no doubt about it. There were certain world-class players in that Invincibles team. But do you think he was too rigid with them, and that was also one of the things that were, why he came undone?
Yeah, to be fair, I think one of the things that if I look at a purely critical point of view, one of the things that really did Wenger in was the fact that with the rise of data and stats and everything, his idea of personal connections to find these gems started lagging behind a lot. So for example, when he recruited somebody like Emmanuel Petit or Patrick Vieira, or seeing potentials in players who had underperformed in the previous club, like Henry, for example, one of the biggest ones, right? To see something in them, to develop them in his own way, from Van Persie, Henry, all of them started on wings, by the way. And then they were moved to centre forward, and then they became a focal point of the team. All these guys, by the way. To seeing, all right, maybe, let me give this 16-year-old Theo Walcott an opportunity. And then he ends up going to the World Cup as a 17-year-old as well, right? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jack Wilshere, Cesc Fabregas, getting him from La Masia, making him the youngest captain at Arsenal. His idea of having this personal touch and personal connection with people slowly started evaporating once the data and the technology started catching on.
Right.
So these guys stopped becoming hidden gems that you'd find through word of mouth, and then they started becoming open play for everyone to try and poach. And so I think what really did Wenger in was, when he had access to grade A talent, he played grade A football. But then when the money started coming into other clubs and we had less money, we started getting stuck with maybe B+ talents.
Yeah.
And so when you have players, and it's not like he did not find other players like Samir Nasri, he ended up using very well, Alexander Hleb, Alex Song, all these guys. they still had a very important role to play at Arsenal. But it's not going to replicate into title-winning form and, whatever your peak rivalry was. And so, yeah, I completely echo what Mihir said about Wenger and, his loyalty as well. He's just a big father figure at the club, yeah.
Now I think it's time to move in to talking tactics. And today we have our very own tactics wala to take this conversation forward. A to the J Menon.
नहीं जो एक्चुअल टैक्टिक्स वाला है ना वो एक बिलियनर है वो कहाँ पे था यॉट में क्योंकि आप लोगों ने देखा रहेगा हमारा शो का अलग पांडे है वो बट nevertheless I mean tactics and Wenger I think it's just very synonymous एक साथ हम लोग ये दोनों चीज़ों को जोड़ सकते हैं और जो वेंगर का जो फुटबॉल था जो दक्ष ने बोला भी he was instrumental एक अलग ही इरा उसने अशर इन किया द वेंगर बॉल ब्यूटीफुल फ्लूइड फुटबॉल सो आई नो दैट ऑफ कैमरा तूने बोला कि तू घंटों इस टॉपिक के बारे में बात कर सकता है बट इफ यू कुड briefly just put in because इतना टाइम है नहीं if you could just kind of like concise it together कुछ बता सकते हैं about how Wenger played football
Actually, yeah. So a lot of people think Wenger ball is what he played post 2006-2007, but Wenger ball also evolved in itself. When he had these physical monsters like, Manuel Petit and Vieira in the middle, he did rely on physicality a lot. You'd see some Wenger games where the defender is the one at the end of the move and he's finishing the game. He's finishing the game and scoring a goal and everything. So Wenger ball was basically trying to get the players into the best possible positions, maximizing their abilities. Whether it's Henry, somebody who can carry and run with the ball really, really fast. He'd drop in all the way to the midfield, he'll carry the ball forward. Maybe it's somebody like Freddie Ljungberg, who might not be the most technically gifted on the pitch, but he is somebody who can run in a straight line speed and can combine really well in short spaces as well. Perez had that really amazing flair about him. He could pull off shots out of the ordinary. So keep him close to the goal.
Right.
Wenger ball started off as relying on physicality and running, which was a little bit of a hallmark of the English football. But then he started getting these little magicians on the pitch. And we had this extraordinary collection of midfielders, which had Santi at one point, Ozil, Rosicki. You'd have even like players like Francis Coquelin, who weren't technically the greatest or physically the most dominant, looked so good in that midfield.
Flamini as well.
Like you'd get Yossi Benayoun on loan.
Yeah.
and Yossi Benayoun be like, oh my God, Yossi Benayoun, what a player.
Wenger's biggest strength was his trust on the players.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not something that you can coach. He trusted the player to do the right thing at the right time.
Right.
And with the modern football coming in, all the data and the analytics coming in, probably that is what kind of led to that decline because he trusted his players too much.
Right. But me, you're talking about the modern game. If you were to draw a parallel between Wenger's setup and Arteta's setup today, where you see the cohesive football we were speaking about backstage, is there a parallel where you see some of those learnings applied where Arteta being a system coach, do you see that?
Of course. I mean, there are some, very acute similarities, in terms of, a defender going all the way to the attacking third and scoring goals. You would have seen Timber doing it. You would have seen Calafiori doing it. But back then it was more of a, just an instinctive thing on the field. But right now, what we see is something that is coached.
Correct.
The system matters too much right now. You can see Timber going there because he has been coached that way, or it's too technical now. There are a lot of things going around. Even if you see Timber going around, you will see Zubimendi coming in, to cover the space. So it's not just one player, or there are similarities obviously, but back then it was, I feel, more of a you have the space, you do your thing. Right now it is like you have to do this, you have to do this.
That's where tech and data really has come in.
Yes.
It's automations. It's rehearsed setup. Like the point of Arteta, or point he always makes is whenever a player receives the ball, he should know this player is going to be here, and that should be an automatic action for him.
Right.
But you compare that with Wenger. Wenger never put any determinism in his structure at all. No determinism in his structure. He said, you get the ball, you turn. Is he there? Okay, maybe I'll do it. And more often than not, those automations in Wenger systems probably weren't as strictly coached into them. It just happens in the structure कि वो player उधर free होगा and the player will basically move on into that sense. So I personally feel कि on a surface level, yeah, there is some sort of similarity there, but the intention with which that similarity exists in Arteta structure is more determinist rather than, Wenger. Wenger was like, करो जो करना है तुम्हें pitch पे करो.
But that's also a function of more leaders on the pitch in Wenger's time. Those personalities, those players were aura players in a sense that you don't really easily find in today's game.
ये जो एक फ्रीडम है जो वेंगर ने दिया, that was unparalleled. एक controversial take है, एक casual opinion है rather, not controversial take, but तू उसको है ना थोड़ा उसको myth bust कर कि Arsenal and Arteta play boring football, set piece FC, मतलब what तालियां बज रही है वहाँ पे यार तुझे क्या चाहिए? Do you want 3 points or do you want beautiful football?
Okay, इसके लिए I'll use this camera because this has to be like spoken directly to the public, okay? It seems boring because we barely concede chances. Like the game seem interesting because jeopardy दोनों side पे रहती है. हमारे style पे jeopardy बहुत कम रहती है because we defend as a unit. Everyone is running. I'll refer you back to that Burnley game which we played just a couple of weeks ago, जहाँ पे in the 85th minute we lost the ball in their half and everyone was running back. Everyone was running because we hate conceding goals. And it looks boring because you're like, okay, team के पास ball आ गई, but we just took it back and now we're going to run our own attack. The boring football essentially comes from the fact कि यार ये लोग जिंकी जैंकी करके दो लोगों को कटा कुटू के क्यों नहीं गोल मार रहे? Because we know our strengths. It's not like we face only one kind of team. In the Champions League, we faced Atletico Madrid, one of the best defensive teams, by the way, and we smashed them 4-0. And there's a reason why as soon as we score a set piece, we end up scoring a couple more.
Yeah.
Because teams have no option but to come out and defend us, right? Come out and attack us. And that's what we essentially want. Come out and attack us, play, let's go toe to toe. Imagine having a defense जहाँ पे आपका सलीबा Anfield पे चला गया, some new kid called Mascara comes on and it looks absolutely flawless. आपको चैंपियंस लीग में आपने लेफ्ट बैक चेंज करा, माइल्स लुइस केली का 18 साल का बच्चा लाया, ही लुक्स एब्सोल्युटली अमेजिंग, गेट्स अ ब्यूटीफुल असिस्ट इन दैट गेम एज वेल. कैलाफियोरी अगर इंजर भी हो जाता है, गॉड फॉरबिड नहीं हो भाई, बट अगर इंजर भी हो जाता है बट अगर इंजर भी हो जाता है, वी हैव अ बुंडेसलीगा टीम ऑफ द ईयर प्लेयर वेटिंग ऑन द बेंच कि पियरो हिंकापी कब आएगा और वो क्या करेगा. It's a perfectly built team. It's a perfectly built system. It's a manager who has worked with this team for 7 years and it shows.
It shows. The last segment of this particular tactics wala, thank you, the original tactics wala, for living your billionaire life and leaving us to handle this. But यार Daksh Mihir combined आप लोग साथ में एक best Arsenal 11 बनाओ. The guys that you've seen playing, you know. So if you could start from the keeper, the most important position on the pitch, goalkeeper.
You've seen play.
Yeah, David Seaman.
David Seaman.
But I'll say Reyes very close.
Okay.
ठीक है, ऐसे तो Lehman है, but Seaman takes the spot.
All right, your defense.
Right back.
Sanya for me.
Bakari Sanya.
I'm making an 11 जो लोग जानते हैं.
अच्छा.
Influencer.
See, this is why you should follow me.
So we'll have to stick to Sanya because
ठीक है, fair. If you want
Sanya
to go
it
ahead with
is.
something.
Centre backs. Oh man, you have to have Mr. Arsenal there. Tony Adams has to be there. Kolo or Sol?
I'd stick to Seoul because
He left Spurs. Left back, better left backs.
Ashley
Brian
Cole,
Shabazz?
definitely not for obvious reasons. Definitely not for obvious reasons. If we have to make a team based on recency bias, I would say Monreal.
Nacho Monreal. Okay. Quickly, guys, midfield.
Vieira.
Vieira has to be there.
Vieira.
I'll put Petit there. Petit
Emmanuel
was
Petit.
very, very underrated player.
Do you go for a Fabregas?
Yeah.
So that's Bergkamp.
Okay. Dennis Bergkamp.
And on flanks, I'm actually going with Perez and Henry.
For the right, again, very uncontroversial choice. I'll go for Robert Perez. He was magic, bhai. Like some of his goals, if you see, absolutely insane player, bhai.
And of course, I think coach unanimous. It has to be Unai Emery. I mean, it has to be.
But this was very interesting. I think, Ajay, when we draw a parallel to Roma in the Premier League, it is but obvious that there is only one team that comes to mind in the Serie A.
Talking about finishing second, huh?
So, but I think it'd be very interesting actually if you draw up like an all-time Roma 11 and let's see how those two teams stack up.
This is a good one. I'll Roma 11 of the players that I've watched. And Dij, I know there is one striker that you want to bring in, but I actually, when I started watching Roma, he had already left. But आएंगे हम लोग उस पे आएंगे. I think the best goalkeeper that I watched for Roma has to be Alisson Becker.
Yeah.
Hands down. Although Svilar is now finally, reaching those levels. Yeah, but Alisson तो होना ही चाहिए.
He got benched by Chesney at one point, by the way.
So Chesney benched Alisson and Buffon. So Chesney is the clutch.
He's the legend killer.
Yeah. So Chesney is someone who's played for you guys, for Roma, and for you.
For Barca as well.
And now Barca.
And now, आप लोग देख नहीं सकते लेकिन यहाँ पे एक बंदा है जो आप कमेंट्स में गेस करना कौन है वो बारसा फैन जो बोल रहा है स्मोकी कमेंट्स पे गेस करना बट राइट बैक डीज I'll go for Panucci because Cafu had already left for Milan. So Christian Panucci is who I've watched. Defense में Walter Samuel and Philippe Mexes. I love Mexes, man. Oof, I think a French talent that got away from Arsenal because
He was a very Arsenal type.
very Arsenal.
Very Arsenal type.
Wenger would have gone, all out to get him.
That hair, man.
Left back पे यार again Candela एक option है, but I love John Arne Risa यार. Like he is a good guy and and we ensure that we never forget. So I'm going to share that post where I met John Arne Risa and I was like the Roma scarf. So Liverpool fans couldn't meet him, but thanks to Manas he got us to meet John Arne Risa. So that's my back line.
Very solid line.
Very solid. Midfield में one name DJ has to be there is De Rossi. And De Rossi के साथ में I'm picking a Roman partner with him in the center of the park, Alberto Aquilani. Very, very sad when we sold him to Liverpool. And I know it didn't work out for him at Liverpool.
Coming back.
Yeah, then, of course, he became a journeyman, Milan, Fiorentina.
Why don't you tell us what formation you're lining up?
I'll go for a 4-2-3-1. Okay, and तो मेरा Aquilani and De Rossi center of the park में है. My number 10 is Raja Nainggolan. And under Spalletti, he was playing in that number 10. And why I said number 10 is because I'm going to put Francesco Totti, the king of Rome, on the left. Because Zeman played him on the left. Yeah. You saw the best of him. Yeah. He exploded in that particular role over there. And then, of course, he's played multiple positions. He's played the trequartista, he's played the false nine, multiple positions. And so no-brainer, it has to be there. Right. On the right wing, I'm actually torn up. Like Salah hai, Mancini bhi hai, Amantino Mancini. Gervinho. But although Gervinho under Rudy Garcia was revived. Exactly, yes. Rudy Garcia, he had that one season. Yeah, he had one season where it was really good. But I think I'll just go for Salah in terms of recency bias. And again, like you said, Daksh, अपने को करना पड़ता है. We need to add in those names. When अगर मैं Amantino Mancini और Rodrigo टड़ाए बोलूँगा तो भाई, so Salah on the right and the striker DJ. See, I would love to put a Batistuta. Has to be, no-brainer. Gabriel, Batistuta has to be there. But unfortunately, he had left for Inter by the time I started watching Roma. Similar to your time, 2002, 2003, तब already निकल चुका था. तो Edin Dzeko. Like in the modern day, I would say one of the most underrated forwards in the world.
Very solid forward.
Yes. Yeah. And my manager is, I hate the guy, but I love him as well, Luciano Mahatma Spalletti. So that is my Roma 11, boys.
Like for different reasons, obviously. I just love playing with Roma sometimes in FIFA as well because at one point they had that front three, of Ibarbo, Gervinho, and Doumbia. Yeah. Oh my God, that front line in FIFA was...
Again, that's such an Arsenal front line also when you think about it, right? It is such an Arsenal...
Victor Ibarbo, Seydou Doumbia, and Gervinho. Those three were insane in that game.
Now that we have these lineups, guys, absolutely stacked lineups on both ends, let's start with the Arsenal 2. okay, if you had to pick one player from that Roma all-time 11, and you'd have to drop one from your list, okay, who would it be and why?
So there's only one player worth considering. That's Totti.
There are many. You can argue. There's De Rossi.
Arguable. I think
Rossi,
BDR, of
but,
course,
I mean-
world class.
World Cup winner also.
My
Don't
benchmark
forget.
for that place is set. I am not touching Vieira for it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Totti.
Yeah, I'd also go for probably Totti if we have Bergkamp maybe in the 10 because again I think similar एक stature of player है and that personality of Totti I'd say would fit in so well with the dressing room with Henry and Vieira and all those guys. So probably Totti in that sense. But of course no slight to De Rossi, yeah, but it's Paddy Vieira, man.
Fair enough.
His first words in England were Tottenham are you can't look past that.
Fair. AJ, what about you?
I think I replace Dzeko with Henry because, like you mentioned, man, it's just a no-brainer. Imagine these two legends playing together. It would have been a sight to behold. Totti, Henry. So I'd remove Dzeko and bring in Thierry. Back to Italy.
Very interesting lineup. Back to Italy. Not a good memory for me, but yeah, back to Italy. It seems. Okay.
Dosto, we've come to the end of this fantastic, fully caffeinated episode of Cappuccino पे चर्चा. मिहिर, अगर कोई आर्सेनल फैन है जिनको तुमने अभी तक अप्रोच नहीं किया या शायद उन लोग आए नहीं हैं, if you could tell that Arsenal fan how to join AMSC and attend your screenings and play the 953rd game of football, please.
So we do keep posting about the screenings and the footy events on our social media handles. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Facebook is as good as dead, so Instagram, Twitter will help you. And we still have the membership running. The phase 2 is still on. We have a good history of pretty kick-ass merchandises every season, so you can sign up and wait. We've not revealed the merchandises for this season, but you can have a look at the past seasons and sign up and be a part of this great community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihir, for that. And yaar, I don't think so there's anyone on the internet who doesn't subscribe to Football with Daksh. तो भाई फिर भी लेकिन एक plug in तो कर ले यार.
You guys can follow me on YouTube at Football with Daksh. And अगर आपको Instagram पे करना है जहाँ पे मैं बहुत funny reels बनाने लग गया हूँ, it's Football W Daksh on Instagram as well. You can follow me there and thank you so much for the support.
Okay, guys, on that note, we came, we caffeinated, we did a lot of charcha. It has been a lot of fun, and thankfully, even though it's an Arsenal set, nobody got a red card. We look forward to catching up with you guys in our next episode. That's it from us, guys. For now, signing off, DJ and AJ, everybody, ciao, ciao.